Fun activity for you now. We're going to switch around the agenda a little bit again and let Casandra do her crowdsourcing activity. And then depending on how much time we have, I'll do our ARCH update. If we don't get to everything in the ARCH update, I'll have individual phone calls with you. I'll make you sit and listen to my spiel. I'll have a captive audience. Anyway, Cassandra's here, and we're going to, some of you have done this with us before, a crowdsourcing activity to generate one big idea, and I'm going to turn it over to Casandra to let her explain how this works.
Thank you, Jill. Actually, this activity is to really help you think about what we have just heard in the Bring, Brag, and Borrow and identify just one. And there were so many good ideas. This is difficult. But I want you to choose one idea that you know you want to go back and try and replicate or borrow, or you're going to hassle this person who presented to get more information. So I want you to think very carefully and pull out from the center of your table one of these cards. So each of you will have one of these cards. There'll be cards left over if I accidentally didn't put enough at your table. Ooh boy, I see a table where I didn't put any. Oh Lord. We'll make sure you get them. Okay, good. And please notice this is a two-dimensional piece of paper. There's one side and there's another side. On one side of this paper, I want you to write down that one idea out of the many that you know you want to take back and share and use and borrow. And then leave the other side blank, because Jill asked me to do this now rather than later because she wants you guys to move around. Now, if moving around isn't an option for you right now, then folks, make sure you move to them, because you're going to move around the room with this piece of paper with that one big idea, and you're going to pass it to someone. And then you're going to pass it again, and you're going to keep moving, passing that piece of paper around until I, the DJ right now, says stop. You will have a card, and I want you to look at it, and you're going to put a number down. The numbers are going to range from 1, like, that's a good idea, but it's not for me yet, through 5. And 5 is, hey, that was my idea, or yeah, I'm definitely going to use this one, or the numbers in between. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is great idea, but that's not for me right now. Up to 5, I'm in, or that was my idea to begin with. Of course you liked it. And you're going to do this 5 times. So at the end of then you'll start passing again. At the very end, we'll stop, we'll add a number. There should be 5 numbers on the back of the page, and then we're going to see which ones are going to be the most borrowed of the day. This isn't a contest like which is the best idea. It's really to prepare those poor people for when you go home and you get those phone calls. We want you to block some time out on your calendar for the fun. So any questions about what I'm going to ask you to do, and I'll walk you through it. Right now, I'm allowing you 30 seconds. I will set my timer to think about what you heard today and write down that big idea, and then I'll get you started moving around the room. So 30 seconds, you're on. I've got it. Oh, but I'm giving them 20 minutes, never mind.
You want me to time it for you?
I'm nearly,
I give them 1 minute.
I'm giving them another 20 seconds.
Maybe you can write that. Make sure it's legible.
Try and be legible. Right now, penmanship will count. Actually, the 30 seconds are up. Would you raise your hand if you need more time? Okay, 5 more seconds. Okay. With your card in hand, I'm going to ask you to either move around the room. If you can't move around the room, I want those of you who can to know that you're going to make sure you walk past those people as well, and you're exchanging cards. We're in a big card exchange right now until I tell you to stop. So those of you ready to stand, if you can stand, please, and prepare to move through the room. Get started, pass your cards. Right now, you're just passing cards. And you can say hello as you pass. Don't score them. You're not scoring your cards now. You're just passing them. Keep exchanging. You're not scoring your cards. I didn't get that clear. I didn't get that clear enough. Keep passing your cards. No, I'm not. Okay, you can stop now. Stop. Okay, everyone. The card in your hand, look at it. Write down a number between 1 and 5. Remember, 5 is that's my idea, or boy, I'm going to use that one. So write down your number on the other side. So this should be the first number that goes down. Write that number and get ready. Write your number, 1 through 5. Everyone ready? Because you're going to start passing them again. Right now, you're just going to pass until I tell you to stop. So get going. I guess I wasn't clear enough. Okay, you can stop now. Whatever card you have, read it. I need to turn on the light or something. And write your score on the back with the other numbers. Write your number. Five is the one you're going to use or you really like it. Okay, and now you may start passing again. We're going to do this 3 more times. Pass those cards. Okay, stop. Whatever card you have in your hand, please put down a number between 1 and 5 on the back. This should be the 3rd number. You may only put your number down once. Oh, if someone's already said 5 and it's a 5 for you, put down a 5. Yeah, you can have as many 5s as you want. You just don't want, okay.
Whatever number down.
All right, pass it again. We've got 2 more to go. Start passing those cards. Keep passing. Okay, stop and score. Stop and score, please. Should be the 4th number. We're doing it 1 more time. Okay, the last time. Let's make it work. Pass that card as many times as you can. Just start passing. Share those cards. Okay, stop. Now, put down your number on the back. And now you can go back with your card, whatever card you have, and sit down at your table. Because now you got to do the heavy math. I'll tell you how to do the math. Yeah, there should be 5 numbers. Okay. Now, with the last card you have, I want you to make sure you add your number to it. So add your score to it, and you should have 5 numbers. Now, I know that some of you will have 6 or 7, and some of you will have 3 or 4 because you didn't do it right. I know that. But you can still come up with an average. So, for those of you who do not recall how to do averages, add up the numbers, and then take the sum of those numbers and divide it by how many responses you had. Hopefully, there are going to be 5 numbers. So you're going to come up with a sum and divide it by 5. Yeah, because it was the 5th time just then that they should have, but they didn't. Okay, now does anyone need assistance with the math? Calculators are useful. Okay, everyone got the math done? I'm going to ask for people who have a card with the average is 5. Who has, we got one, just one with an average of 5? Corey, please rise. And in your loudest voice, or go to a microphone, read what it says.
County-based ambassadors for caregivers across the line.
County-based ambassadors. Which state brought that up, by the way? Wisconsin. Get ready for the phone calls. Pardon? Please repeat it. Yeah, go to a microphone. I'll do it from here on out.
It was county-based ambassadors for caregivers across the lifespan.
Thank you. Okay, do we have an average of 4 or higher? Besides 5. Oh man, a bunch of 4s. Okay, 4.5 or higher. Okay, we've got 3 4.5s. Let's hear them all. Go to the microphone though. 1, 2, and 3. Let's.
All right, so this one has an average of 4.8, and it is recorded PSAs in the voice of someone representing the population you want to reach, which was borrowed from North Dakota.
Yay, I love that one too. Get ready, North Dakota.
This is ironic. This is the WHO 5 well-being scale, pre, post, 30, and 60 months. So what I ended up with, of course, I put a 5. But it averaged 4.6.
Very good.
So, and that's from Montana. If you want to get a hold of me, I've got tons of business cards. Send me an email and I can get you the link. I already shared that with you.
He's already sharing it with me, so.
I can get you the link to that scale. So that's, wow.
Thank you. And we had another in the 4 range.
Yes, we have one more 4.8. It just says the ambassadors, but I think I know what we're talking about there.
I think they could be those same ambassadors
it's the
we
same
heard about
folks.
earlier.
So, nicely done.
Hey, for those of you who didn't hear your idea, that doesn't mean your idea wasn't great, because I had a whole list and I didn't know. I got to pull myself out of the game because I was here shouting at you, being the DJ. But I told Jill during the break, I'm overwhelmed with the great ideas and the great work that is going on. I think it gets better every year. I phoned Susan Summers. You may know her. She's our qualitative researcher and a great collaborator and friend of Arch. And I said, this is the best year yet. Their ideas are phenomenal. And she says, I've been watching them improve. I mean, we're all blown away by the caliber of the work you're doing. I just want to make sure you all know that. So thank you very much, and thank you for letting me be a part of this. Thanks.
Well, now that you've gotten to move around a little. I'm sorry?
Oh, could we? Yeah, I'm going to go table to table and grab as soon as I get my mask.
Thank you all for doing that. I hope it was fun for you and you got to move around and get a little exercise. Just very quickly, I'm going to go through an ARCH update because we do have so many new people here today. For those of you who this is boring, you don't have to stay. You've heard this so many times. But I do want to make sure that our new people know the resources that we have here at ARCH, and I'll try to zip through. You all know, some of you are under the mistaken impression sometimes that ARCH actually awards the funding for this program or oversees or reviews your grant proposals. We do not. We are funded by the Administration for Community Living to be the training and technical assistance resource for all of you as grantees and partners, and that's really the extent of our involvement. We're funded by the Administration for Community Living just like you are, and we hope that we're partners in the work that you do. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that who's new to the network. We also have a National Respite Coalition at ARCH, which is our policy division, and all of you should be receiving our legislative updates. We do one regularly now, every other month or so. And if there's something urgent that's more pressing and requires your grassroots activation, that comes separately apart from our regular policy updates. And that's basically what we do. We have some new products that we've developed since we met last time, actually since we met virtually last year. 2 new fact sheets, one on adult day services and one on, what was the other one? The faith community respite. We have so many in the works right now, I can't even remember which ones are done and which ones are still in draft. 2 new fact sheets, you can access these on the ARCH Respite website, archrespite.org. These are the most recent. This is a new product as well, and I want to thank all of you who were generous enough to share your final reports at the end of your last grant from your 2017 to 2020 or 2021 grants, and you submitted your final reports to ACL, and we requested permission from you to take a look at those final reports and write state summaries of those. These are extremely useful, not only for you, so you can see what your colleagues accomplished with their most recent grant. But we also get lots of requests from policymakers, from funders who are looking for things to fund, the general public who wants to know what are we doing with this lifespan respite money, what is the program about, that we have these state summary fact sheets. So thank you all for those of you who were able to share those and we were able to write the summaries. And each of you reviewed the final summary as well, so hopefully we captured everything accurately. At the same time, we also did something that Greg Link used to do in the first few years of the grant, and that was take your current grant, the proposal that you wrote for the most recent grant, and do a one-page summary of your objectives and goals and expected products. Again, so that if we get questions about what are the states doing with the lifespan money, if we get a question from your congressman, what's happening in my state, we'll have the information on these one-page proposal summaries. So we have both of these. They're all posted on the ARCH website, and there's a QR code for the compendium of the state summaries as well. And feel free to use them in your own states if you find they might be useful for a grant that you're writing or a public event that you're holding and you want to educate people about your grant activities. I'm sure you all have your own materials that you use for that as well. But if these are helpful, please feel free to use them. Again, some of you may be familiar with our series of family caregiver fact sheets called the 9 Steps to Respite. We currently have 4 of them. one for military caregivers, military and veteran caregivers, one for grand families and relative caregivers, one for caregivers of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and one for caregivers of people with Alzheimer's. And we recently updated all of them, so I wanted you to know they were updated. And 3 of them have been translated into Spanish as well. So again, if they're helpful for you, these have been around for a while, but they're updated. And now also, at least, except for the military families, they've all been translated. Our learning collaboratives, I can't speak more highly about these, not because we're so great at facilitating them, but because you're also great at participating in them. And I think it's one of the most valuable things that we do at Arch, and that's to be the facilitator of your ability to connect with each other. And the peer-to-peer learning, I mean, we saw today how valuable that is. It's probably the most valuable thing that goes on in our training and technical assistance activities. So if you're not part of one of these learning collaboratives and you have an interest in one of these topics, performance measurement, which is run by Casandra, sustainability planning, which is run by Susan Summers, the Respite Voucher Learning Collaborative, which is really, this one is peer-led. We have our leaders from Oklahoma and from Washington State who help facilitate and lead this collaborative. And the Volunteer and Faith-Based Respite Learning Collaborative is our most recent collaborative. And that one has most recently been about bringing in outside people or people from our own network to talk about their models for respite in the faith and volunteer communities. And I've been thinking a lot lately about forming a new collaborative that would be, and you can all let me know what you think about this, but a collaborative that would look at the new national strategy for family caregivers coming out next week. There are a lot of, as you heard from Lori this morning, a lot of recommendations about respite and what community and states, community-based agencies and state agencies, what employers could do. And I think it would be wonderful if maybe we formed a learning collaborative to figure out how the lifespan respite grantees and your partners, what is it in the national strategy that we could make sure we're working on so that we have a uniform action around some of those strategies. So with a raise of hands, how many of you would be interested in a learning collaborative like that? A lot of you. That would be great. So let's, in the next few months, we'll talk about, I don't know if we have to wait till the comment period is over in the Federal Register before they finalize the strategy, but we can certainly begin to look at that and see what's in there that we might want to focus on. So that would be really great. Anybody have any questions about the learning collaboratives? Everybody is welcome to join at any time. You don't have to make a commitment to it. You don't have to show up for every single meeting, but we would love to have you. All of them meet quarterly, except for the sustainability planning, which meets monthly, because they have a group that really loves to talk. Yes. Doris is one of our key members. There are 5 or 6 states that have been meeting, I don't know, for 3 or 4 years now, monthly, and they all show up religiously because they do a lot of sharing, and it's just really a nice informal group of folks. This one I wanted to make sure you were aware of, and you may have seen recently that I wrote to all of you and asked you to help us recruit family caregivers and respite providers. And we also asked all of you to participate in listening sessions that are being conducted by the Georgetown National Center for Cultural Competence, who we're partnering with to develop a self-assessment tool for organizations to take a look at how ready are you, how prepared are you to deliver culturally and linguistically competent respite services, and then help move you in that direction. And we're hoping, actually this year, that we get some additional funding from ACL to build on that work, too. And I don't know how many of you got a chance to participate in any of those listening sessions. I hope that you did, and what they learned from those listening sessions, they will use to help inform the development of this self-assessment tool. And we're really excited about this work because we haven't done enough work in this area, and it's so important. We're not as far along in the process as I hope we would be by this point, but it's going to be an excellent product when it's completed. And then just some larger ARCH initiatives, if you're not familiar with it. You've heard about this a lot today. This, and if some of you heard, the ARCH Respite Care Association training, you heard reference to that, and you didn't know what we were talking about. About 2 years ago, ARCH received some additional funding from ACL in collaboration with the National Academy for State Health Policy, and we partnered with the Respite Care Association of Wisconsin to develop a set of core competencies specific for entry-level respite providers. And we developed them with an expert panel of people that were really knowledgeable about direct care workforce, including family caregivers, on our expert panel. We did an environmental scan, reviewed all the direct service workforce training curriculum that were out there, and came up with a very simple set of core competencies. We then put those out for public comment, and the public comment came back, we revised them. So we're hoping what we have now is what we can at least call a nationally recognized set of core competencies for respite provider training. And we took those core competencies and applied them to online training that Wisconsin already had been using. And we modified that training to meet all of those core competencies. And now we're field testing it in 11 states. And it's being thoroughly evaluated, by Dr. Kim Whitmore, who is not with us today, but you'll be seeing her a lot, hopefully, in the next couple of days. And there's going to be a lot of sessions on this at the conference, too. There are at least 3 or 4 sessions. I know New Mexico is going to be presenting on their role as a pilot. There's another session using 3 of the pilot sites as examples, one on the evaluation component. So if you take a look at the direct care worker track, you'll see a lot of those trainings, a lot of those sessions about this training in the conference agenda. We're very excited about this. ACL is super excited about it. And we hope that once we complete the field test and do the analysis, we'll modify the training based on what we learned to make it even better, and then develop a replication toolkit so that if any of you other states want to adopt it, you'll be able to do that easily. And as we get further into the field test and closer to the replication toolkit, we'll keep you updated on how and when it will be available. Some of you may also know about our innovative and exemplary respite services. This is an initiative that's largely run by Susan Summers and Casandra Firman. We do an annual national call for respite programs and services that think they might be innovative and exemplary. Over the course of several years, we worked really hard. It was not easy to develop a set of inclusion criteria for services that we consider to be innovative and or exemplary or both. And we collect these applications. They're pretty lengthy and intense, which is why we don't get thousands of applicants, but we get some really good programs that apply. And we have a selection committee, including some of the members of ARCH's National Advisory Board. And we review those applications and select programs that rise to the top as innovative and exemplary. And we're going to be recognizing the 2022 programs at the conference tomorrow. So we're excited about that. And then Cassandra's also doing a session with the 5 recognized programs on Thursday, right? So if you want to learn more about them, they'll be featured at that time. And we hope that next year when we do the application, and I know many of you have done this in the past, if you have programs in your network, or if you yourself have a service that you're running through your Lifespan Respite Grant that you think might meet our criteria, and you can see what our criteria are online, you should feel free to apply or nominate a program that you think might be worthy. Our research initiative, you've been hearing about for the last, 5 or 6 years, 6 or 7 years. We now have a new committee on the advancement of respite research, and they're looking at the findings from the research summit that we held in 2020. They're meeting in small work groups to look at common data elements for respite research, to look at cost benefits research, and also to look at cultural relevance in respite research. And they're going to be making more recommendations about future respite research. And the point of all this is that we really need to strengthen the evidence base for respite if we're going to increase funding, improve quality, make the case for respite. So, at a high level. So we're very excited about this work. We have some incredible researchers on the committee, and hopefully next year we'll have another summit, or year and a half, with some of these researchers presenting their new research agenda for respite work in the field. And then we're already thinking about our next National Lifespan Respite Conference. As you know, ARCH partners with a state respite coalition or a grantee to host the conference because it really helps to have boots on the ground in the state where we're going to be, and really makes it a truly grassroots event. And the reason it's the spring of 2024 is that the international conference is going to be in Poland in the fall of 2023. 1 year from now, exactly, is the international conference. And for the first time, I've been hearing from a lot of you who want to go to that conference, and we don't want to conflict with that. So we'll just push our national conference off until the spring, and probably hold the grantee meeting at the same time again. So we're looking for a co-host. I've already approached one state, who at this point shall remain nameless, because I don't want to put them on the spot. But if any of you might be interested in being a co-host, let me know in case they decide they don't want to. We're still looking for that co-host. We do have to decide. It takes a long time to plan a national conference. So I'd really like to have that finalized by October or November. So if anybody's interested, let me know. I can tell you all the details. I can tell you what's involved. You can talk to Lisa or Doris or the Mandy from Tennessee.
Yeah, we're looking for someone with a beach. Yeah. None in Hawaii, is there?
No, unfortunately. Somebody asked Puerto Rico. Don't we have a grant there?
We could do Alabama.
We've already done 2 in Alabama. Though I have to say, Cheryl said we can come back to Alabama anytime we want. So keep that in the back of your mind. Nobody has to commit today. But we would love to join with any of you to move that forward. And that's pretty much all I had. If you have any questions about any of these ARCH resources, you can always call me. I'm totally accessible by email or phone. If there are any other resources you think we need to produce, let me know that as well. Or any training that you'd like us to do, please let me know that as well. There are many more webinars and many more documents on the website as well. And another exciting thing is that we're going to be launching a new website and a new logo after 30 years. With this logo, we thought it was time to update. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's going to happen hopefully in the next month or so. It's going to be very exciting, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier to find all of these documents on the ARCH website as well. Any questions? Any thoughts? Please don't forget to scan that QR code for the evaluation for today. It's a nice online SurveyMonkey, really quick. You can do it right now on your phones if you care to. And I want to thank you all so much for being here. It was a really, really great day. And I'm really grateful for your work. It's really true, when we first started out, there wasn't much for states to report, but the amount of work that you've all accomplished in the last 12 years has been really, truly amazing and have advanced the field I was even saying to someone today, I don't think you even really need Arch anymore because you are all the experts in what you've developed around lifespan respite. And it's so wonderful that you can look to each other for guidance, for best practices. So thank you all for everything that you do. And I hope you enjoy the next few days of the conference. And don't forget to check out the Lifespan Respite track to learn more. So you're all free to go. Come to the reception tonight. Reception is from 6 to 8. In this room again, Lisa?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, right? Come back to this room for tonight's reception. And hopefully we're going to have a DJ with music. So wear your dancing shoes. Thank you all very much and have a great afternoon.